Right along the edge there's some weeds, but inside there's none. It's just the edge. Looks like a decent crop, but it's hard to say.
I still can't figure out this post office thing. It's like I'm just picking up a package, which we ordered from Ozone. Some reason it got delivered to post office. I don't know. There must be a reason for it. I mean, but the Ozone is right here, and the post office right there. I don't understand why it went there, but that doesn't really matter. But then to pick it up, like, you know, I got to show my passport, obviously, so they know who I am. But then you got to fill in like all sorts of information, which I don't get it. I mean, it's my package. It has my name on it. Who else would it go to? Why? I had to fill in this information with my name on it, with my, what I thought was the series, or not the series. Like I had to put the passport number in, and then you got to fill in the expiry. That's what it is, expiry date. So I filled that in, but apparently that was the wrong spot. No, that was down below. So the date the passport's issued, then the date that the passport expired. Then I had to say, you know, if you were happy with the shipment, but it didn't say yes or no. It just again asked me to fill in the date. So okay, so I filled in today's date on that one, and it's like, I don't know what for. It's a package. It's a little box, you know. Well, it's actually Ainsley's birthday gift is in it. I don't understand why all this information is here. There's so much info, so much paperwork. I think the amount of extra people that are employed filling in paperwork, for what purpose? I would love it if somebody could explain to me what would be the purpose of that. Like, yes, you have to show identification, of course, to pick up a package. That makes total sense. But why do you need all that extra information? Who cares? Who files that? And then where do you store all that useless information? You have that much information of all this, assuming everybody that picks up a package has to fill in this slip of paper. For what? Where do you keep it? Like, there must be literally warehouses just stuffed full of useless paperwork to keep track of little packages or something. I don't know. Someday, I hope I can understand the language fluently enough to sit down with somebody and they can explain why. What is the purpose? Like, for tracking? I mean, if you scan my passport when I get to the post office, just build a website, bloop, scans it, and then you know who picked it up. I mean, and obviously you can't give the package to anybody else except me because it's my package. So if it was picked up, well, obviously it was picked up by me. Again, I don't understand why all this useless paperwork. Just think all these people that are busy doing useless paperwork that could be employed doing something useful. How much bigger the economy could be if people are doing useful stuff. I just never understand it. I really don't. Just talking about that reminded me, we had to go to a hospital one time for, I think it was medical checkups or something for immigration. Can't remember exactly. It doesn't matter. But Anneesa had to go to this room and dictate all this stuff to this person. I forget exactly what it was, but they hand wrote everything out. Took a long time. Then they went with that person down the hall back to where we were waiting to another lady who then wrote all that information down, typed it all into the computer. And there too we were chuckling, what a waste of time. Why didn't they just dictate it to the lady who was typing right away? I've seen some people type. They can do it really fast. Faster than I can write with a pen. So that other lady who was handwriting it, she really has a redundant job. It's not necessary. She literally just did it twice, right? I mean, you could lay her off, or she could go do something more productive with her life. If that was me, I would go home feeling kind of worthless. I'm doing a job that's not needed. I'd rather do something useful to society and contribute somehow. You know, everything that she wrote down then got rewritten down by somebody else, and then I hope they don't keep both copies. Maybe they do. Throw one in the warehouse and the other one on a data file somewhere. I don't know. A lot of it doesn't make sense. I know people have told me before, well, that way they have a hard copy. You hit print. After she's done entering it, they can hit print. And then you would still have a hard copy that could go to your warehouse if you want to store paperwork somewhere, and the other one could go on a data file. That's not a good argument. You could still do that. So why is that lady writing all that stuff down? I don't know. Why do they need all this information at the post office? Again, I don't know. And I sometimes wonder if nobody knows. Maybe it's just something that people have always done. I don't know. I like to fix things and tweak things, and I always need to know why, and that drives some people nuts. But I just not satisfied with because, you know, there's got to be a reason. I think there's a reason for everything, and I always try to figure out the reason, which maybe makes my life harder. I don't know. Anyway, the real reason I'm out, we were working with the tractor and suddenly I noticed it was overheating. I said, whoa, well, it is pretty hot out. So we shut the tractor down and we decided to check the fluid levels. I opened up the rad, we topped it up, it wasn't that low. Then I noticed it's got a really cool feature. There's a slide that goes up and down. And for in the winter time, you can close the radiator off, and in the summertime, you can have it open so that, you know, it cools better, and in the winter, you'd have more heat in the cab. So, okay, that's pretty cool. Didn't know that even was there. I might have known, but I forgot. Anyway, while looking at that, we noticed the fan belt broke. Literally, snapped, just sitting there. So it's not cooling because there's no fan belt. It broke. Which, I don't know why it broke. We'll find that out next. Right now, I'm on the hunt for a fan belt. Hopefully I can find one here in our local town. If not, it'll have to wait till tomorrow, and I'll get one in the city. But that's what I'm doing right now. I don't know what that broke. It goes from the crankshaft in the bottom, crank pulley, I guess, up to the fan belt and to the water pump. So I had no water pumping and I had no fan belt, which is doubly bad. Still amazes me every time. Small town, but they got everything here. You don't need to go to the city most times. Everything's here. So yes, they had the right belt. I am good. 239 rubles, if I remember correctly. Yeah, 239 rubles. So like, I don't know, almost $4 Canadian or something for a new belt. It's pretty cheap for a belt. But everything's here. It's great. Anyway, on the way out, I thought it was funny. I seen a group of kids, 3 girls and 1 boy, standing around, similar age to my older children. And all standing on their phone, standing beside each other, not socializing, not talking, just staring at their phone. And anyway, every time I see that, I think it's hilarious because a lot of people are concerned that my children won't know how to socialize. And then I have to think, like that? Like those kids, you mean? You want mine to socialize like that? Or what exactly do you mean? Because I don't see that many kids socializing. My children are actually very social. When people come over, they know how to communicate, talk to them. 2 of my girls go to the market, sell stuff, very social. And then I see all these other kids staring at their phones. Anyway, it's just funny. Beautiful day, lovely weather. We're gonna get that belt on and get back to work. All right, belt's back on, ready to roll. Yeah, anyway, could always be worse because this prevents my engine from cooling. So if you know anything about engines, an overheated engine, bad news, but everything is good. Once again, we caught it in the right time, and thankfully there's no issues. Why the belt broke? These things can happen. Sometimes you get a bad belt and they break. A lot of people in the comments are probably going to say, hey, the tractor broke again. You know what? Belts break. It is what it is. This is why you need to look over things as much as possible every morning before you get started. I did not look at the belts this morning. I don't normally ever look at the belts, but it's important to keep your eye on the gauges in the tractor and listen for things and just pay attention. So we're ready to roll. We're gonna go back to push and post. Putting this line in right now. If you're new to the channel, we are busy fencing the farm right now. We've got a long way to go, but we've got lots in. And what we've done is drilled a pilot hole first to push these posts in. So we've got a small hole. It's not big enough for the posts. And the reason is because I want my posts to be in tight. Normally I wouldn't drill a hole at all. I believe drilling a hole is actually not good because you end up with a loose post. People say, well, drill a big hole and pour concrete. I got over 700 posts to put in, and we've put in lots. I'm not going to pour concrete in every hole. It costs too much. People say, well, just pack it. That's a lot of work, slamming with a bar to get this all packed in. The best thing you can do is get a proper post pounder and pound them in. Now, I can't find a proper post pounder because they don't exist here. So I am improvising. I would build my own, but I don't have the money to do that right now. I've pushed in thousands of posts with a tractor bucket, so it's not really a big deal. You just need to fill your bucket full of weight and just push. And drilling the hole first helps in this ground because it's pretty dry and hard. The other thing a lot of people commented on was the posts. That you got to treat them. These are treated posts. If you can tell the color difference, here we've cut an angle on and you can see what the post would look like, even though there's treat there as well. They're pressure treated. Somehow they press the juices into the tree. This cut in half. No, we didn't cut these, did we? No, here you can see it's green all the way through, but that might have been an exposed end. So it's hard to tell, but I can see looking at this that this is green. It looks like this part is not. This here does not look green, this does. So I would suggest then, looking at this post, that they've gone in at least that deep, which is almost all the way to the middle. Yeah, they are treated with a rot preventative material. Pressure treated. We call it a PT post, pressure treated post. Everybody in North America knows what this is. A lot of the Russian audience hasn't got a clue and asked a lot of questions about these posts. This is extremely normal. This is what we do. This or cedar posts is what we do for fencing. And there is literally millions and millions of kilometers of fence all across North America done exactly like this. It'll last 15-20 years. Some posts way longer. They do not rot in the ground. They rot right at the ground height. Right at this height is where they'll rot. Not down there. Down there it's sealed off. There's no oxygen. Now, I've seen lots of old posts get pulled out, and they'll be right where the ground height is. It'll be thin here from rot, and below is perfectly good, and above is perfectly good. So it is what it is. They may rot eventually. 15-20 years is a long time. If you put a steel post in this hole, it will also rot, same spot. And I don't know if you'll get 15-20 years out of a steel post. Why do I use wooden posts? For one, it's a lot bigger than a steel post. Okay, a steel post of this dimension would cost me a fortune. This post here is a lot less money, and it's got a lot of thickness to it. It's about 150 to 200 millimeters thick on each post that I'm putting it. I like wooden posts because I can nail to them. I can add my barbed wire or my page wire to it. I can also add a hot wire later on, and it can all be nailed onto the post. With a steel post, I would have to tie a wire around, which can slide up or down. It's not as convenient. It can be done, yes. What we would do in the West often is put a T-post in between the big posts. So a T-post is literally what it sounds like. It looks like a T when you're looking at it from top down. And they usually have holes in them, and we'll use them to sturdy it up. I couldn't find any T-posts in Russia. I have not been able to find any at all. They may exist, but I so far haven't been able to find them. So we're putting in these wooden posts 4 meters apart. That'll be enough for now. And in the event some rot over the years, like I said, not all of them will rot in 15-20 years. Lots of them will last longer. But then you just simply take those out and stick a new post in its place. Not a big deal. What else? Oh, somebody commented that they're all different heights and it looks silly. When we're done, we nail our page wire fence on here, and we'll run one strand of barbed wire across the top, and then we will cut all the posts on an angle on the top so the water doesn't sit on, runs off, and they will all then be the same height. Until that point, they just look a little goofy, but that's okay. It's a temporary measure. What else can I tell them, Wes? Anything? No idea?
If this thing was solid steel, we wouldn't even have to push it in, it would just sink in.
If it was solid steel, well, they wouldn't do solid, they would do a steel pipe, which would be hollow. But they rot out as well. And this is definitely sturdier when a cow hits it, I think. All right, I think that's got to cover it. We got to get back to work.